Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Do We Know Them? That's right. What is this, episode 4?
Episode 4.
Look at us.
I want to be like, we made it to double digits, but it's not.
No,
it's
not even
still
close.
just 4. That's actually not that impressive, but like, I'm proud of us.
I am too. Oh, I'm Jessi Smiles, by the way.
Oh yeah, I'm Lily Marston.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, hi.
Welcome to our podcast where we discuss internet drama and also weigh in with our personal insight that we might have because we have been on the interwebs for quite some time now.
Yep. And you guys seem to be liking the show. Some of you not so much. We'll get into that. Oh, we will get into that. This episode is going to be yet another random one. We are going to talk about some internet happenings because some things went down, but nothing crazy. I feel like
It's been a couple slow news weeks.
we're perfectly happy talking about the mundane shit of the internet. And that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be talking about Pink Sauce Lady. Lily has no clue what that means.
I just keep seeing people talk about pink sauce and I'm so confused and Jesse's going to explain everything to me.
Of course, I know all about it. And we're going to be reading some hate comments. We're going to be talking about them, or I don't know if we could classify them as hate comments, just some negative comments, some strongly worded comments.
I wouldn't say they're constructive criticism.
No, they're not. They're just mean. So yeah, we're going to do that and then maybe talk about some things at the end.
Honestly, our last two topics are possibly going to be Ace Family again, which it feels like we're kind of like going too hard on the Ace Family, but they just do a lot of things
know.
and we have a lot to say.
Let's begin with the pink sauce. I want to start, a little bit more lighthearted, and then we can get into the crippling criticism that keeps us up at night. So pink sauce. How many of you guys have seen what is going down on TikTok with the pink sauce? Lily texted me. She's like, what is this pink sauce thing? People are wanting us to talk about it. I had forgotten about it because I see it happening on TikTok, but never on, it never occurred to me that we would even think about talking about this. Let's just jump to the beginning of it, which is there's this chef. Her name is Chef Pie. I don't know how you pronounce her name. She's on TikTok. She's a chef. I don't know if she's a professional chef, if she just calls herself chef. Technically, anyone could do that, right? You don't need a degree.
I don't know if there's a certification for becoming a chef, but
I don't think so. But she started showing that she uses this pink sauce. She showed herself using it on fried chicken and putting it on all sorts of dishes. And it was just a pink sauce, which caught people's attention. And she's like, I'm going to start selling this shit. So she started selling this pink sauce.
quick question. Are we not pink sauce is a pasta sauce?
No, honey. We're not talking vodka sauce. We're talking pink ranch.
See, that's I think where I've been the most confused because everyone's just saying pink sauce, but I'm like, that doesn't sound like.
That's so funny because pink sauce is the incorrect way to say vodka sauce. That is how I also refer to it sometimes, at Olive Garden. So it's not that type of pink sauce. From what I understand, it's a healthy ranch, right? So what makes it pink is dragon fruit. Spoiler alert.
What?
I know, right? See, that's what got people real intrigued.
Oh, how full circle.
Right.
Oh, that's...
Yes. Oh, yeah. Ooh.
That doesn't look like something I'd want to eat.
So then she started selling this. From what I understand, this all started going down late June. I want to say is when she started, it started getting, hyped up on TikTok. So she started selling them. And that's where everything went to shit. People were saying it tastes like a sweet ranch. That was the vibe that it was giving. But the real issue began when people started noticing that the labels were all fucked up. So the nutrition facts were all messed up. So there was multiple things wrong with it. But the main thing was that the serving size was 444 servings, which would have calculated to the bottle's 14,000 calories, which is not at all true. So that was a big thing because once you mess up the nutrition facts, nothing on it is safe essentially.
Question that I don't know if you know the answer to, and I definitely don't, which is why I'm asking it. Could I just start making something and sell? Can you just sell food?
No. You cannot, and it's dangerous. Okay, that's the other issue, right? So then people started noticing the issue with the label, and that's where it all started. It was outed as quite the not so legit operation. And then people started second guessing what the actual ingredients were because so-called dressing connoisseurs were noticing that when she was making that pink sauce on camera, it looked like she was using something mayo-y because most sauces are mayo based and they're most sauces are aiolis.
That makes so much sense because I'm not a sauce person and I hate mayonnaise.
Oh, there you go. I'm sorry. Side note, I've never understood people who are not sauce people. Do you just enjoy dryness?
No. I just don't like the taste of any of the sauces. I love ketchup.
What are you, a toddler?
Yes, I think we've been over this.
People started noticing when she's making it, there's something mayo-y next to her, but there's nothing mayo-y listed on the actual ingredients. It was like sunflower oil, dragon fruit, some spices.
The interesting thing about dressings that some people don't know, if it's not a vinaigrette, mayo is probably the main ingredient. Now, that's a little bit different when you're talking about companies who have a ridiculous amount of preservatives. Just using this as a random example, Hellmann's, their ranch does not technically use mayo, but it uses pretty much all of the ingredients that you would put in a mayo, with the exception of egg, which they have other things to thicken and bind in place of the egg, such as the cornstarch, xanthan gum. The reason that most dressings, non-vinaigrette dressings, use either mayo or mustard is because it acts as a binding agent. A lot of times you get like a balsamic vinaigrette. If you let it just sit there, it's going to separate, which is what makes the texture of this sauce so weird. Now, you could point to the honey and say that that's the binding agent, but the thing is, the pitaya is what gives it that color. Pitaya is just dragon fruit, even with the fact that it's like mostly water. If you were to use honey as your binding agent and just honey, it wouldn't be quite as dark as the fruit itself. Also, if you were using enough honey to actually bind the ingredients, it would be thicker than this. So I was thinking there has to be mayo, or at the very least mustard in it. And then I came across this video, which you see something that looks an awful lot like mayo. And if you look at the ingredients list, there is nothing that looks like this listed here. Even if this is not mayo, at the very least, she is using something that's not here to give it that particular color and consistency.
So then people are like, okay, you're not listing the things you're actually using, which is a serious issue for like allergies and could like kill people.
Was she just marketing this on TikTok? How did this go viral enough that people were actually buying it?
I showed up when the slander was present. Like, I did not show up when the hype was like people were ordering. Like, I just showed up when everything went to shit. So I'm not really sure if there was ever a point where she was just getting like pure support. I don't know.
Yeah. Like if it was super good and people like it started getting hyped that way and that's why people were ordering it, because otherwise the last thing I would do would be scrolling through TikTok and see someone with like, this is this sauce that I made. Like,
I would say that I wouldn't do that, but I've actually... I've ordered multiple food items from TikTok. Okay, this is super embarrassing. So it's not super embarrassing. I was trying to support small businesses, but there was this one guy from Hawaii. I don't want to get too specific, but like he sold gummies that had this like red sauce on it that looked like almost like chamoy, like if it was going to be like kind of, spicy, whatever. I was like, oh, that's a vibe. Dude, that shit was fucking disgusting. Like, it was like the gummies were so slimy and like, how can a gummy get like stale? I don't know, but it was disgusting. That was one time I ordered. And the other time I did order from this like Mexican candy place, but she just makes them like in a bowl, like in her house. And I bought it.
I'm sure that there are situations where that does work out and it's fine, but you don't know, like they don't have a health code thing that they don't have a rating. They're making it in their kitchen. Is she wearing gloves? Like, that seems super sketchy.
But I think they're allowed to. I could just make food and sell it, I think.
I don't know. I could Google it, but I feel like that's going to take too long. Because it just feels like with packaging and, like, there's so many different things you have to, like, it's not just, and same with, like, where are you getting the ingredients? Where are you sourcing them? Are they all, like, there's so many factors that go into it. It feels like it couldn't be.
I guess if you want to be, like, government approved, you do have to follow the codes. Like, I know you have to have, like, a separate sink, like 2 sinks, one for dishes, one for hands, like, things like that. She definitely doesn't follow any of that. Like, that's for sure. But she also... Another issue people were noticing is that every time the sauce was shown, it was a different shade of pink.
The recipe varies.
Definitely varies. Like sometimes it was hot pink and sometimes it was very baby pink. And her excuse was like, it's just the lighting. Like you guys have no idea what you're talking about. Now the main issue with the mayo situation, that if it was a mayo-based sauce, if she's making a mayo-based sauce in her kitchen and from her ingredient list not putting any like preservatives, the issue was that she wasn't shipping it refrigerated. That was like another big issue where it's like she's shipping it in this hot ass weather where it's hot as balls everywhere, and not just like normal hot, it's like out of control hot. So she's shipping it, and then someone the other day had it in their fridge and their bottle was like swollen.
For y'all, We got the pink sauce. It is cold, too. It's cold.
Okay, y'all starting to scare me now. Do you see how bloated that bottle is? Why is it bloated? That comes from a buildup of bacteria that has created a gas due to lack of refrigeration.
Anyway, fast forward, she finally apologized for the label. That's what she apologized for. She said, I'm just a human, and this label thing it was just a human error, and we put 444 servings because the bottle's 444 grams. And so it was just like a mistyping, and that was our mistake, and we fixed it now, and nobody's getting those labels anymore.
Okay, so she did apologize for that, but not the ingredients.
No.
So if we think that there's like mayonnaise in it, not only are you not marketing the ingredients properly, but you're also marketing it as like a healthy thing, but it's mayonnaise.
That's what people say because, again, that's what the dressing connoisseurs of TikTok
We
say.
need like a scientist to go in and like dissect it and do some tests.
But it does make sense because people that have tried it, oh, by the way, this is a side note, it's so fucking watery. I'm going to show you guys videos of it. It's literally, Lily, like the bottle, like you barely open it, it's just dripping like water.
I thought
like
you
it's
were
disgusting.
gonna say, I'm gonna show you guys and like go grab it. I'm like, of course you fucking ordered it.
Bitch, no, I did not order that. People are describing this sauce as a sweet ranch. How can that not have mayo? Because according to the bottle, it would be more like a vinaigrette. Like it's like an oil with dragon fruit, and that just equals vinaigrette to me.
I don't know much about sauce consistencies or ingredients, so I don't know really how to weigh in there, but it sounds sketchy.
Absolutely sketchy. And when I saw those swollen bottles, I was like, oh, bitch.
So people had told us to talk about it. I had already passed it a bunch of times and was curious of what it was, but forgot to look it up. Today, I, though, scrolled past on Twitter. There was a live that she did. Someone was like, the pink sauce lady went live. And I'm like, what the fuck is this pink sauce? What did she reveal in the live?
I didn't see the live. I only saw clips of it on TikTok, of course. And on the live, she claimed that the FDA showed up to her house. I didn't actually see the clip of them showing up, but she was showing their business card. Oh my God. So then I'm getting ready to film this podcast and I'm scrolling and I see this man, he faked his death and said the pink sauce like killed him.
I thought you were just moving on to a new topic. We're still on the pink sauce.
We are on the pink sauce, honey.
What?
So first and foremost, I want to say sorry if I scared y'all. I mean, that was my intent, but like not like this. Second off, I want to say to Chef P, sorry if this scared you at all or impacted your business in any way. That was never my intent. The opposite, actually. This was meant to be a full social experiment to see how quickly other people could spread misinformation. First and foremost, I want to go on record and say, because people are saying that she wants to sue me, I have never tried pink sauce. I have never bought pink sauce. I am in no way affiliated with pink sauce. Even though I had sauce smeared on my face, you can clearly tell that it's not pink sauce. It's something else. The second video, which references the first video, just says that I'm not feeling good and that I ate it. When I say I ate the pink sauce, it's not trademarked, unfortunately, so you don't know which pink sauce I am talking about. I never said that I was dying. I just said in loving memory. Yes, that implies death, and I understand that's wrong, and a lot of y'all are probably like, oh my God.
How long before he revealed that he was alive?
Well, I didn't actually see the part where he was dead. I just saw the part where he was explaining why he faked his death. I think it was a couple days.
And specifically, he claimed it was because of the pink sauce?
Yes.
I'm dying to see what that post is because I don't even, would that be an easy thing to Google? Okay, quick, really off topic question. I have headphones plugged in right now, so it wouldn't be the case. But how is it, does anyone know that's listening or watching, how is it that like we could be FaceTiming and I could play a video on my phone at like high volume and you won't be able to hear it at all? Like not even like, oh, it's kind of, no, you don't hear it at all. How? Because the speakers are right next to the microphone.
I don't know. That's a really good
blows
question.
my mind. Anyway, TikTok?
Oh, by the way, speaking of TikTok, some of you have said that you've come to this podcast through TikTok. Can you please elaborate on that? We want to make a TikTok account. We just haven't gotten around to it. And then some of you are like, oh, we came here from TikTok. How? We haven't been tagged in anything.
I'm so confused. What am I searching on TikTok?
You are searching pink sauce. Hopefully you can find someone pouring it because it's just like water. The thing is too, it's not always like water. Sometimes it's thicker and sometimes it's super watery.
Relatively, it's pretty watery.
Does it look appealing to you?
I mean, I'm not a sauce person. I'm not very saucy.
Like, is it giving when they came out with green and purple ketchup? Like, intriguing, like, oh, I should try that.
Oh, wait. Whoa. So, first of all, I just clicked on one that starts with it. It's on chicken, it looks like. And it is hot pink. Like, pink in, like, did you see that Toaster Strudel did the collab with Mean Girls a couple years ago? I did a brand deal for it. It was
Definitely
like
not.
the best brand deal ever.
Oh.
And the frosting for it was like strawberry toaster strudel, but then the frosting was pink. This looks like the toaster strudel frosting, 100%. But in the other one, it looked like it was like ketchup and ranch mixed. That looked more like standard like food. This looks like it's like made to be a gimmick kind of thing. Okay, wait, but so then after it has the still of the chicken with the toaster strudel frosting, then it shows she has 2 styrofoam cups and it looks like there's like dry ice coming out of them.
What?
I don't know, but is that part of the production process? Because that is concerning.
Literally, I don't even know, because every time I see her, she's got different ingredients next to her. The sauce looks a different color. Does it look like a lighting shift to you, the sauce change, like the color?
No.
Me neither. Looks like Pepto-Bismol. Like, it doesn't look appealing to me at all.
It's hot pink here. And in the other ones, it's like literally looks like Thousand Island.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Oh, yeah, no. And sometimes it's like vibrant hot pink. And then sometimes it's more of a pale pink.
What people were getting was very much muted baby pink. Like, it was not at all vibrant at all. And of course, there's like filters and stuff that people use.
Even the one I'm watching now, it's like light pink and very watery. Kind of looks like melted yogurt, maybe.
Yes, that's exactly, like, it's just super watery. It almost barely stays in the bottle. Like, I don't know. Should we buy it?
Oh my God. Is it like sold out though at this point?
You know what? Probs not. Because it's viral, but in a bad way. But what if we get sick? Hold on, let me see. Oh, and I think it's like $20 a bottle. Yep, $20. Oh, she sold out. Okay, so it has sunflower seed oil, dragon fruit, honey, red chili, and garlic.
Bullshit. What's the base of it?
Exactly. It's like, it can't just be oil and dragon fruit. That's not going to be creamy like that.
No.
That's what the connoisseurs of dressings were saying. I'm telling you.
You don't need to be a connoisseur of dressing. You just need to have a brain. It is watery in some of them. So it's like maybe those ones don't have much of a base.
Even if it's watery, and even in the ones it looks watery in, it still is like creamy. Like, you know how like vinaigrettes are all like separated and you gotta like shake them up and stuff? That's not how they're getting them. It's like a creamy emulsified mixture, which means that there's some like mayo shit going on, or like at the very least milk or dairy or something in some way, which needs to be refrigerated because there's no preservative.
And this is just unreal when you look at the color difference.
Yeah, I know.
It's not the same in any video.
At all.
Oh my God. Okay. Is there more to this?
Not really.
That's where we're left at, wondering if she's going to get arrested for something. I don't know what I was expecting for this story, but...
She put out a video on YouTube. Let's clear some things up. The pink sauce.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Okay, so completely this is spark notes of her YouTube video. We have not actually seen it, but just reading through the comments. I guess that she's saying that, like, this was like a prototype. Because someone put, respectfully, no, the laws and regulations don't care about your prototype excuses.
You don't get to be like, this was a practice round. It doesn't count.
And then people are saying it's illegal to ship an unregulated homemade sauce across state lines. You don't ship a prototype. So yeah, I guess she was saying that that was a prototype.
I don't feel like you use the word prototype to describe food.
I know, at all. Maybe a prototype could be like the bottle for the food, right? Like
it's
usually...
like a design thing. Like,
yeah. She says that the sauce is being made in an FDA approved facility, but she doesn't provide proof of that. Well, this was, you know, a fun little deep dive into pink sauce world. Do you have any thoughts on pink sauce?
I think I got all my questions answered for what ones there are answers to.
I'm actually curious to see if there is any legal fallout. I think that there's always talk about that when things like this happen, but do people fail to realize how fucking annoying it is to like sue someone?
That's the thing. It's like, yes, legally I'm sure she is at fault and liable for a bunch of things, but is anyone gonna go to the trouble to hold her accountable for those?
Like, even if you got food poisoning from the pink sauce and you shit yourself for 3 days straight, not worth suing. I mean, I just think
if every single person sued somewhere where they got food poisoning, we wouldn't have restaurants.
KFC gave me food poisoning. I'll never forget it. When I was like 8 and I like was violently throwing up because of their boneless barbecue chicken. and I couldn't eat it for years. Do you remember? This is so random. Do you remember when like all the celebrities were against KFC?
No.
Oh my God. It was like a huge thing. I carried the flyer like in the front of my binder and I didn't eat KFC for like a decade.
Were they problematic?
Well, it was like a video that came out where they were like stepping all over the chickens. Like they were like stomping on them.
Like before they...
Yeah, they were like alive.
Oh, got it. I was like, not like the worker TikToks where it's like workers like spitting and things. And
Oh,
like...
no. It wasn't a sanitary issue. It was like abused chicken issue.
Oh.
Dude, I stood so hard for that cause. I swear. I was like, I will never eat fucking KFC again.
You're like, now I have it every week.
I don't know. I don't know what people expect to happen, but it's not going to happen. She is, at the end of the day, a small business owner. She's not going to have millions of dollars to like settle out of court.
No, and I think someone that's showing this much like defensiveness and aggression up front isn't going to make it to a big enough place where someone is going to take that action, I think.
Right. You always find in situations like this, especially if you're a small business, not that the customer's always right, because like I worked in retail, bitch. The customer's like always wrong. But like you have to have a good attitude when you're a small business, because the second you turn people off like that, you're done and you're not going to be able to grow. Like what's she going to come out with next? People are just going to clown her ass. Like
Green sauce?
green sauce. That's been done. We already talked about that. But yeah, that's the pink sauce fiasco. Let us know what you guys think about that in the comments.
Oh, wow. And if any of you have bought it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. I doubt it.
I hope not for your sake, but like for our sake, I would love to hear what it tasted like / what color it was.
I'm not gonna lie, if it wasn't sold out, I would have bought it just for the memes, like just to try it on the show. I can't believe people bought it for like just like the girl whose bottle was all swollen, it was like half gone. It's like, who the fuck is tearing up this pink sauce at home just because?
On my channel, if anyone is not subscribed, which probably you aren't, but I do a show occasionally called What's in Store, where I buy weird grocery store stuff, and it's the stuff that you see and you're like, who the hell would buy that? I do. And then we try it, and I feel like that is very much a lot of the time how Cheat Day was on Clever, and that's like literally the foundation of Beauty Break, is just buying stuff to try it because you would never normally buy it.
But not like unregulated shit. Like, well, I mean, who the fuck was preparing our stuff on Cheat Day?
We actually hired like professional chefs for that.
But they would do it like in the back, no?
Certification. They prepared it ahead of time, and then they would just like heat it up, which is why it was like cold most of the time anyway, because we had
Always
like
cold.
one oven and we didn't even have an oven. It was like microwave.
You know, someone asked me the other day, if I could please share the mac and cheese dip recipe that me and Miriam tried. And I'm like, do you think I was fucking making those in the back? I don't know how anything was made. It was kind of the best. Like you just show up and people would put things in front of you and you just eat them. That was
I absolutely hated it so much.
Did you?
Oh,
Oh,
it was the
you're so
worst.
picky.
Well, I'm picky, so I never liked any of it. And also, I'm not like someone that's gonna like snack all day either. And I would have to film like 3 or 4 episodes in a day. There were so many times I went home and didn't like throw up, but like literally would just like lay on the couch being like, oh, I'm gonna die.
Same.
Anyway, well, so speaking of all that, I have seen a few requests in the comments for us to basically give the origin of our friendship, because come to find, not everyone knows. And then I thought about it more and I was like, oh, I guess our friendship hasn't really been that much online. It's been mostly offline, obviously.
For people to know, they probably would have had to have been around from like the get-go. So me and Lily met because I was on Cheat Day. That's how we met.
No, it is not.
No, it's not. What?
It was like way back. Must have been when Beauty Break Beauty Break was the show on Clever that I hosted. So I'm like, how do I?
Are you gonna name drop? Now I know what you're gonna say.
I feel like I have to.
Yeah, okay, just go for it.
Okay, so basically, Megan Rinks and I, Megan was the other host on Beauty Break, one of the other hosts. Megan and I had made friends with a girl named Marissa Callahan, who, if any of you are big Demi Lovato stans, you might recognize that name. It was her best friend, like from Texas, like childhood best friend. And I don't even remember how Megan and I met her. I think it was like she followed Megan on Twitter, and it was like she was visiting LA one time and we got brunch, and then she would come out and visit a lot, and I don't know, we started hanging out. So then, because of the Demi Lovato connection, and we were just with her a lot, we were like, oh, what's like a way we could have her on Beauty Break? That would be fun. So she comes on and we try a bunch of Demi Lovato skincare stuff. But I guess right before she comes on, she is talking to Jessi for some reason. which if you want to
I don't
fill in,
remember.
Jessi used to be like kind of friends with Demi Lovato.
I don't even think I met Marissa through Demi. Like, Demi's sister follows me on Twitter, and Marissa, I think, also just happened to follow me because I definitely didn't meet them through Demi.
I don't know. One thing led to another, and apparently Jessi was talking to Marissa, and Marissa was like, oh my God, I'm going on this YouTube show tomorrow called Beauty Break. And I guess Jessi, who now this is not as weird to think about because I know that you watch literally every YouTube video ever uploaded, but apparently Jessi responded and was like, oh my God, I love Beauty Break. You're going to hang out with Lily? And then Marissa tells me all of this, and I'm like, what? Who is this? And then I look, and it's literally like, I find out that she was this huge Viner, which we talked the last episode. I never was on Vine, so I have literally no clue. So I like looked up some compilations, and I was like, oh, she's funny. And then I follow her on Twitter, and we just started, oh my God, let me pull it up.
Oh no, not our original DMs. I remember vividly, I was taking a bubble bath when we were exchanging numbers.
I mean, even though I do know now that you watch so much, like, I don't think we were getting that many views at the time. And like,
Lily, I have no recollection of any of this. And therefore I do have some concerns for my memory because I thought we just met on cheat day just by happen chance. But now I vaguely remember us talking about you in the elevator of the W, me and Marissa, when we saw Justin Bieber playing at the jazz thing.
Oh, jazz night. I went to that with her one time too.
Yeah, so I don't know, it was her thing. So like I went to jazz night with her and Justin Bieber just happened to show up and play the drums. And that night is when we were talking about you. Now it's ringing a bell, but I don't remember how I even found Beauty Break. Like I have no recollection of any of it.
This is September 10th, 2015, and we had tweeted something, obviously. So then I DM you and I said, LOL, I love you already. And then you sent back a crying emoji. When Marissa told me you said you were creeping on me, I lost my fucking shit, Lily. Lost it.
Ew!
And then you said, no, but really, I would love to meet you and then become best friends forever. Which,
Hey.
I mean, mission accomplished.
Oh my God, how fucking gross. Jessi, calm down. Play cool.
So I told you I was going to wait to tell you today when we were discussing what we were going to talk about. But one of the things I remember from when Jessi and I first hung out. Oh, wait, sorry, backtrack. Coincidentally, even though the Marissa connection was why we like got introduced, the first time we met was because by some coincidence, someone had booked you and someone else to come in and be guests on Debatable, which is a show I was producing / on.
Correct.
So that was the first time we met. And ironically, it was also the first day that I met.
No.
No. I'm not going to say her name, but a lot of you are going to know who I'm talking about. So that was the first time we actually met. And then I went to your apartment one time. Like, you invited me over and we just like hung out. And then
Was that the pumpkin carving?
I think we just like hung out before that.
We didn't pull a Christy Carlson Romano to start filming.
I don't think so, maybe. But I don't know. We like became friends like super fast. And then I think we just also didn't have a lot of other friends. So we were just like, oh my God, I really like hanging out with you. This is so fun. And then we just were together all the time and we would just get drunk on one of our couches.
This is just a fun fact about Lily. Lily almost never wanted to sleep over my house. And anytime she did sleep over my house, she like escaped at 6 a.m. every night.
Jessi would always tell me that she felt like that I was like a guy sneaking out.
Literally. Do you know those people like, well, sometimes I was that person when I was like really young that they would just like have like a panic at like 3 a.m. and need to call their mom and be like, I'm going home. Like that was Lily. Every time she slept over my house.
That was absolutely not me ever. But it's that I would wake up at like 6 and then I just like would suddenly be awake and be like I'd go back to sleep once I got home. But also Jessi would sleep till like 2. So
what? First of all, I'm glad I enjoyed the fuck out of those years because I don't sleep anymore. So you know what? I'm glad every day I slept till like 2.
One of the best things was that because you lived with your brother too, but you guys were like very good at, like, I'm the worst because if no one else invites me to do something, I'll just sit in my apartment. You and your brother would like actually go do things. So you'd be like, hey, we're going to go to the pier today. Oh, we're going to go to an escape room.
Or I Pick Theaters, the like theater where we drink at, where I got so drunk I
always
almost
make me go to the movies. Oh my God, yeah, and you were like throwing up.
Okay, I used to be like a super big iPic Theaters fan, and I still am. I just can never go because I don't think they have one here. But you go and you sit down, and a waiter comes and brings you drinks. So I would bring everyone there. I'm talking guys I was dating, friends, people who came to visit in town, my mom, anybody. And when we would get there, you would just get so drunk when you're sitting down because you're just watching the movie. It's all happening so fast. And the only time I've ever thrown up was when I went with Lily, and I just got so hammered. I went to her house and I couldn't stop throwing up.
I could not tell you one movie we saw, but we went so many times. Do you remember when we first started hanging out, you were dating a doctor?
No.
Yes.
Eric was a doctor in training. He was a medical student. Those are almost worse. God, they're like always busy. That was such a tragic story. Do you remember that?
I just remember that it was like the first like month we were friends and we hung out like 50 times. And I remember he would always be texting you. I'd never seen him. He was always busy. He was always doing something. And then he would always be like, who is this girl you're always hanging
He was
out with?
cool and stuff. He looked like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but he literally, I'll never forget. I said it in a vlog once, but probably not that many people saw because it was so long ago. I liked him so much. I was like, so like, oh my God, this guy's so cool. And then one night, I think it was like after we were like, whatever, together, kissing, whatever. And he like looked at me and was like, I usually don't like feel this way about girls. And I was just like, oh my God, like he's so in love with me. And he's just like, no, like I don't feel like attached to you.
What an awkward way to bring that up.
I might have been like half naked when he told me that. And I'm just there like, oh. It was the weirdest fucking discussion ever. And it broke my heart. And then I talked about it in a vlog. It was devastating.
God. Well, sorry to bring up that traumatic memory.
It's quite all right. I'm over it.
But yeah, so then I guess just over the years, Jessi was in a bunch of clever stuff, which I was wondering also, I know we did pay you, but like, I mean, obviously I was not deciding the rates and I was not making any money either.
I'm almost positive they paid me $400 an episode.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was like a day. That was like my day rate. Like if I showed up, like it would be like $400.
Jessi would come and she would usually show up early and stay later. And she would literally just like sleep on the floor of my office.
Yeah, those were good times.
I mean, even towards the end, like I was still not like editing the whole video for a lot of it, but I was watching all of the videos and then I would have to like go in and make changes towards the end. And my computer at work wasn't very fast. So what I would do, I only lived like a mile away, is that I would go in the morning and just like roll out of bed, and if I was shooting I would do my makeup there, so I literally didn't even get ready, and I would like shuffle in, and then I'd usually get a bagel because we had free bagels, which was clutch, drink a few Dr. Peppers, socialize. There was a big love sack in Jocelyn and Aaron's office, so I'd usually go hang out there and we'd like meet, but it was really just like catching up on what we did that weekend. And then I'd go home and edit the rest of the time.
I feel like obviously life looks so much different for me now, and it is different for you because like now you're home, obviously. And like I feel like you used to be so busy all the fucking time. Like you were always doing something.
It's crazy because I think about that a lot. Like I'll have like old pictures pop up on my phone that I'll see, and I'm like, it's not that I didn't enjoy it while it was happening, but it was like I think I was so overwhelmed and anxious because I was so busy and just like so like fight or flight all the time, just like trying to make it to the next thing.
Like we would be at a shoot and like you looked like you were crumbling. You would be like,
I'd be like literally go home and cry.
Yeah.
But it was because I also wasn't getting paid very much, so it was like being stressed about not being able to pay bills, but then also having like millions of subscribers.
That's the thing that pissed me off the most, because Lily had the ideas for all the shows that we did and she produced them and she would do a lot of the editing and she made those shows happen, and then Defy would just cash in on the insane ad revenue and you didn't see any of it.
Well, I get that I'm not going to be making like $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
But like at a certain point, especially with Beauty Break, when it really like popped off, we were getting easily 1 million views an episode. And I'm like, that's a lot of money. And then I was editing it. So we'd pay camera guys, but we'd get 4 episodes at a time.
Yeah.
Because we'd bulk shoot them all.
At the very least, you deserved a raise.
Which I got eventually. And there finally was a point that it was okay. And then I started doing brand deals. And then I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And now I'm poor again. So we're very full circle.
The cycle of life. We've lived so many lives since knowing each other, and I just find it so interesting that like people don't really know the extent of it. So that's like basically our origin story, and now we can jump into the nitty gritty because people have been slandering my girl Lily. Did that rhyme?
And it's a good segue because I feel like a lot of the people maybe that are coming from your audience don't know. Like, I haven't been on your channel very much.
You have arguably been on my channel almost the same amount as Kathleen has been on my channel. Maybe a little less.
Well, Kathleen is much more relevant than I am, though, also. So maybe they already knew Kathleen.
If you
so
talk
I
to
don't know.
Kathleen, she thinks she's the most irrelevant. Like, literally, anytime you talk to her, she's like, I'm a grandma. Nobody cares about me. I'm dust in the ground. I'm fucking 6 feet under. I'm like, Jesus, Kathleen, people still care about you. But, like, literally, we all think we're irrelevant. I think we're just getting old and it just hurts.
Yeah, even though it's like we're kind of the first generation to get old on the internet. So it's like there's no reason our audience that's getting older with us shouldn't still be interested.
That's
it's that
true.
Before it was only younger people really watching the internet.
That's true. And I get a lot of comments about like, oh, I've grown with you. Like I have kids now. I have this and that. And I love that. But I don't know what there must be something in the air. And I honestly haven't even promoted this podcast much. I always post on my Instagram story and say like, hey guys, new episode, whatever. But the people that have come here are hating on my girl Lily. And we need to talk about it. So let's do it.
Again, I think a lot of people might not be familiar with the fact that we are really good friends. This wasn't just like hi, we've met a couple of times and wanted to do a podcast together. It's like, no, we talk all the time anyway. And we're like, might as well film it.
Yes, exactly.
So to see so many comments where it's like, this should have been Kathleen. Lily should be replaced by Kathleen.
Well, we'll get into the Kathleen thing in a second. But today we literally got a comment that's like, Jessi, you should do the podcast alone. Girl, that's what my YouTube channel is. Like, what? We're trying to do something different here. Listen, if you don't like me or you don't like Lily or you don't like this format, that's fine. Like I literally saw one person that was like, I can't actually, like my attention span doesn't allow me to watch podcasts, but I'm like forcing myself to watch this. Like you don't have to do that. Like
absolutely not.
Some people like long form content. I like short form content like TikTok. That's what I consume most of the time. But I love like H3 content too. That's like 3-hour podcasts. And I get why people wouldn't want to sit through that and like the lulls in it and like the pauses.
Definitely
and all
not
that
for
stuff.
everyone.
No. But like to come here and be like, the person who you're doing the podcast with should like get out of here. It's like, that's not gonna happen.
Well, it would be like if a TV show started and you were like, nope, you should really recast the main character like 3 episodes in. It's like, well,
guys, this is mine and Lily's podcast. We decided to do it together.
This wasn't like Jessi was casting a co-host.
No.
Like that's what it feels like. A lot of the Kathleen ones are like, I wish it was with Kathleen though. It's like,
here's the deal, okay? This is what you sincerely need to understand. I love Kathleen to death. She's one of my really, really, really good friends and she will be forever, okay? I talk to her all the time. People are always like, do you guys still talk? Of course we talk. We literally talk today. But you guys don't understand that there is no chance that me and Kathleen will ever do a podcast together. And I know that that's heartbreaking, but we are a disaster. Like anytime me and Kathleen have ever actually sat down to do a video, it's a miracle. Like we are both messes. We both have so much shit going on. She has a million things going on. She has brands she's running. Me and Lily have this podcast where we both contribute, we both edit, we both do things to make it not such a hard thing, but it's still like been a lot of work to like get this up.
Honestly, it's been more than we thought it would be. And I've even seen a lot of comments asking like, not even on just this video, but on my socials and stuff too, what happened to Overshare, which is my podcast with Jocelyn. And nothing happened. We did it for like literally, I think like 100 episodes probably at the end. But at a certain point, we couldn't dedicate the time to it. And we had to pay a producer to help work on it, which then made it so it's like we're not making very much money off of it. It's a big time commitment. It just wasn't realistic with both of our schedules. And it just didn't make sense to do anymore for the moment. Maybe we'll come back later. Jessi and I were talking and this just seemed like something that we both had the time and effort we were willing to put in. And we talk about this stuff anyway. And literally it was like, okay, well, what's like a couple hours a week? Like, that's fine. And honestly, we have discovered that it is much more that goes into this. I mean, also it didn't help that we decided to edit us to make it look like we're in the same room, which has caused a lot of issues.
The only day that I would say we get off is like Monday, because it's like the day after we post and before we film, so we don't have to do anything. But from Tuesday to Sunday, one of us is editing, sending it back to the other person, and that person sends it back. I mean, we're literally just trying to make this happen. If I were to do a podcast with Kathleen, love her to death. She's not gonna edit it, obviously. She's too busy, and also she just doesn't edit like that. It would just be like way too much work. Not only that, it just wouldn't happen. Like by the second week, she'd be like, I'm busy, or I would say I'm busy, and it would just be a hot mess. But you know, it happens to Kathleen too, because like anytime she does anything with any other YouTuber, she's filmed with Kendall Ray and Raw Beauty Christie and like all of that, in all the comments, it's like, I wish this was Jessi. It's like, guys, it's like, what?
And it's not like the end of the world. It's like, okay, well, these strangers don't want to watch me. That's fine. But it's like something you're working so hard on, and you're like, but you don't want me to come on my own podcast?
And to do a podcast by myself, that's me just talking. Like, I don't want to do that.
Oh my God. Well, honestly, that's the one that really sent me spiraling. I don't know where the comment is, but there was one where it was saying that they didn't think they could watch it, or they couldn't listen to this because of my voice. If you want to say I'm annoying, if you want to say I cut her off too much, which we'll get to that in a minute, I could take some constructive criticism. Telling me that the way I talk is your issue and that it's just like Lily's just irritating and stuff like that. I was like, you're bringing back all of them. Like, for example, when I first started at Clever, I was not on camera at all. And it like took a lot for everyone to convince me to do on camera stuff. And I hosted a news story. And one of the top comments on this news story was, this girl's voice makes me want to headbutt a knife.
Oh my God.
Imagine not wanting to be on camera forever. And I've always never liked my voice, because then even before that in high school, one of my crushes, guy I was like in love with, literally told someone, Lily's cute, but I don't know, her voice just kind of bugs me. First of all, I don't know if I'm more mad at him or the friend that told me that.
I know,
but that's stuck in my brain ever since. And then the headbutting the knife brought it up. And then these ones were like, oh no, I thought we got over that. My mom literally was like, you could try speech class. I was like, I'm not going to speech class. I'm 32. This is just how I talk.
There was one comment that Lily literally spiraled. Like, she texted me the comments screenshots, and then she just goes off. It was the one where she was saying like, Lily's so irritating, but like, I'll give her one more chance, or something like that. And you're like, what do you mean? You're not even telling me what I need to fix, and you're saying I get one more chance? How am I supposed to? Oh my God, she spiraled. She's heavily spiraled.
I was
on
like,
that one.
the stakes are pretty high. If you're like, I'm gonna give you one more chance, but like, what? One more chance to do what? What do I do differently? Honestly, I don't care if one person stops watching, not the end of the world. But like, I feel like there's been a few that had that vibe, and I'm like, you're just gonna say I'm annoying, but like, maybe you'll give me another. What?
We really do take the constructive criticism. And I've even noticed, so like, let's get into the interrupting one really quick, because I've noticed, and I can tell because I know Lily, I'm like, she's trying so hard not to interrupt me. And it's like, fuck guys, like, here's the thing. We're just having a discussion. Like, we're not trying to be rude to each other, because I also interrupt you. And there's a delay on FaceTime. Like, there's so many things that go into why we interrupt each other. But do you want to like talk about the interrupting thing?
I think people forget, and maybe normal people aren't like this, but like in conversations that I have with most of my friends, it's not just like an equal exchange of information, like back and forth, where it's just like, you talk, pause, you talk. Like, there is a lot of interrupting involved, but it's never meant in a way to be rude or like, no, I want to talk, I don't want to hear what you have to say. A lot of the time, I think when I'm interrupting, I don't want the person to stop talking. I'm trying to just like add some like context so then they can elaborate more on something, or to like reassure that I'm like on the same page. Like, I get what they're talking about. And I feel like, especially when you know someone really well, and like, you know, the kind of things that will like resonate with them, especially it comes up more that you interrupt them, because you're like, oh, like that one time we did this. And you're like, oh yeah. But then we go back to it. On top of that, a lot of the time we do accidentally interrupt each other. We'll even sometimes mute the other person's audio so it isn't an issue. But then all the comments are like, the audio is messed up at this part.
Yeah, a lot of you guys think that our audio's messed up because the other person, okay, so we'll both seemingly be talking at the same time, but one person you can hear and one person you can't. We literally have to cut our audio out and like mute each other. Like, I'll mute myself or I'll mute Lily to make the other person be heard, because we are interrupting each other. Like, just like how we do in regular conversation. There's no audio. Well, there are audio issues. Let's not pretend there aren't.
I was going to say, I mean, given the last episode, we definitely had some issues, so I'll give you that. But if there's occasional moments where where you see like my mouth is still moving, but Jessi started talking, that might just be because we wanted you to like hear it.
Yeah, and especially for the people who are just listening, I'm like, I don't want them to just hear us like yelling over each other. But in the moment, it really just feels like we're just having a discussion, and I feel like people thought that like I was getting irritated with Lily interrupting me, but like I had COVID, and like I literally was like dying. And towards the end of our episodes, I'm now just starting to feel like 100% normal. Even our last episode, I was not feeling normal, and I was like sweating profusely because we turned off the AC, and like my face looks like someone's dying, and I'm like, people are gonna think, and people do comment like, oh my god, you can just tell. That was one comment, remember that? Like, you could just tell Jessi's irritated with Lily. I get it, I'm irritated with Lily too. I'm like, I'm not.
Well, and then I'm just like, do you think we would start a podcast together if we didn't like each other? Like, that used to be a thing on Clever, I guess, which could make more sense because we were like coworkers, not you and me. In general, people would be like, oh, it seems like Lily's pissed at Jocelyn. And it's like, are you kidding? The amount of like dissecting like friendship dynamics that goes on in YouTube videos.
It's exhausting.
We've never had a time where it's like, oh, like, and we're very honest with each other. I think if I felt like Jessi was genuinely interrupting me or vice versa, we would tell the person.
Yeah.
Because afterwards we're always like, I hope I didn't say too much. I hope I didn't do this. But it's not because we thought that. It's because we're too worried that everyone else is going to start commenting that. And we're just like conditioned to be like, oh, we did something wrong.
But anyway, that was a major topic. And then some other comments we got last time due to our Christy Carlson Romano episode. We got some people who are disappointed in us.
It's a little ironic because the night before the episode went up, Jessi texted me, was like, I feel like a lot of people are going to give us shit for being like mean to Christy Carlson Romano, which honestly, if you look back, we weren't being like mean. I'm sure she's a very nice girl. We were just commenting on her content. And honestly, the worst I think we said was that you said it was cringy. But also, the reason we even had that whole discussion was because Jessi and I are not the only people that, I don't know if this is, people are just going to be like, so everyone else is doing it, so you're okay with it?
Oh my God. Okay, here's the thing. And I just want to make this known. I said, hashtag no hate to Christy Carlson Romano. Okay, but that, like, guys, we're joking. Funny enough, after we put out that episode, so many people were like, oh my God, yes. Like, I have the same opinion of Christy Carlson Romano, including my brother Joey. He like called me, he's like, oh my God, like I've thought this for ever. And then we found a TikTok that was very funny of this girl impersonating Christy Carlson Romano.
This is how Vanessa Hudgens got my Fabletics line. Vanessa and I were pretty similar. She's a cool girl. I'm a cool girl. She was in High School Musical. I was in Influenza the Musical. We're both brunettes. Fabletics, I was waiting for them to contact me. I looked at my email, they hadn't responded. I see Vanessa Hudgens has Velour by Fabletics with Vanessa Hudgens, which I'm wearing right now. Okay, so you're wearing her Fabletics line. Obviously, you guys must be friends. We don't really keep in touch anymore because we've never actually met. So I will say it's comfortable. Do I carry bitterness about not having my own Fabletics line? Sure. Are Vanessa and I ever going to be friends? We could be. So Vanessa, if you are watching this, which I know you are, you can contact my info at ChristyCarlsonRomano.com. And if you don't hold the camera fucking straight.
I just tripped over a rock.
A lot of people have that same opinion that she's like cringy. And my brother was talking to me about it yesterday, and he's like, have you seen the one where she's talking about Anne Hathaway? And I was like, no. About Anne Hathaway getting her Princess Diary role. She didn't show up to the audition. She didn't audition. And then she talks about how much her and Anne Hathaway look like each other, that it's like crazy. Come on, guys, that's fucking funny. And then people are like, oh, like you guys are bullies and whatever. And I never want to come across that way. We're not trying to, like, she hasn't done anything to anyone that's like really horrible.
No, absolutely not. I think we were just talking more about the concept of her shift in content and about the content itself. We weren't commenting on her as a person. If you want to dissect my content and go through it, that's fine. But I'm not doing cringy clickbait walk and talk videos about my past. It's the topics, the format, everything mixed together. It just made for a funny...
Yeah, and it wasn't even supposed to be a topic, and we were just talking about it. Guys, we're just trying to be entertaining. Like, we're if we just sit here and we're like, I don't know, just talking about things like, oh, did you see this? Yeah, did you see it? No, we're adding a little zigzags, a little pizzazz. We're adding adding a
just
little,
giving our opinions.
yeah, we're trying to spice it up. Now, sometimes we might miss the mark. If we were a little bit too mean to Chrissy Carlson Romano, honestly, I'm sorry. Like, I have nothing against the girl at all. Like, at all. But, like, it was just funny to comment on. And then it turns out a lot of people have noticed the same things we've noticed. But, again, we're not trying to be bullies here. You have to understand a lot of the things that we're talking about are surface level. We're not looking to get into, like, super deep, crazy things. I mean, sometimes we'll get into darker topics and we'll be way more serious about it if the situation, like, requires that. But, like, with situations like Chrissy Carlson Romano, like, we didn't even watch half the videos. Like, we just know she walks and talks in a park and, like, the headlines of it. Like, come on, guys.
I even saw a comment that was like, we should have done more research on the David Jeff situation, because I guess there is more information out with, like, that David did rent the excavator and stuff. And I falsely mentioned that Jeff was from Miami. This person that left this comment wasn't being an asshole. They were just like, I hate that I know this, but Jeff is actually from Long Island. The point is, I think I even mentioned in one of the first episodes, or maybe the teaser, even though that doesn't have that many views, that this is not a research-based show. This is a kind of reaction and commentary.
Yes, but we don't want to be irresponsible. So like I said, if it's a very serious situation, we're gonna do our best to, like, treat it with respect. It's not like, for instance, like the David and Jeff thing, it's not like we went and we were like, oh, this is fucking funny, like whatever. Like, we're treating it like, obviously it is a serious situation. Now, the whole premise of our show was being unprepared. Our original idea was like, I'll bring a topic that you know nothing about, like the pink sauce, and then you'll bring a topic that I know nothing about, but we know a lot about the same things, so that didn't work out. But the whole premise was gonna have some element of being unprepared to make it funny.
We're not trying to be mean. We're just trying to give some insight, and the Chrissy Carlson Romano thing just felt funny.
Yeah, and we were literally just trying to, like, take up time and, like, entertain people. And so always know that, like, we're really not here to shit on anybody unless they deserve to be shitted on.
Like Addison Rae's dad, which also, actually, we found out in the comments that it's her stepdad, and that makes so much more sense.
So much more sense.
But also so much less sense, because that means that he thinks that he has access to her jet money and empire when he's just the stepdad.
I mean,
not to discredit stepdads.
I have a stepdad, love him, but I would kill him if he ever said anything like that about my empire.
And you're gonna go name drop, like, oh my god, there's so many things wrong with it. But yeah, stepdad, and I feel like that makes it even worse.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the gist of it. And listen, guys, we don't want to, like, I don't know, like, make anyone angry. We
don't want to make anyone feel bad. Speaking of feeling bad or good, one last comment that I see quite a bit, which I would like to address, is about my overall appearance. I get some that are just like, I didn't even recognize Lily, which could be harmless. Like, you haven't watched me in a while, that's fine. But the ones that are like, Lily, I'm concerned for you. I'm here if you need anything. Okay, I do appreciate that comes from a place of concern, but then also seeing the ones that are like, what happened to Lily? She looks awful. What happened to Lily's face? You guys, oh my God. First of all, I do not have an eating disorder. That is not a thing. That is part of my life. I appreciate the concern. I understand that I am maybe a little skinnier than I usually am, but honestly, I have not fluctuated in weight that much in the last couple of years. Also, I've said, I guess this, I can't get mad at people for not knowing, but also just, like, don't comment on it anyway. I've had a lot of skin and face issues because a lot of you may know that I've had chronic back issues for like 4 years now, and they evolve and improve, and it depends on the day. But my neck will get out of place, and it messes with the muscles in my, like, neck and my cheeks and my jaw, and it makes my face, like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it fucks with, like, everything on my face, and it makes me look different, I would even say, because you might notice that I don't upload that much on my channel. That is honestly one of the reasons, because I'm super self-conscious of it. And then seeing people trying to be like, I just am worried about...
Fuck that. Let's just agree to not comment on people's weight. People do it to me all the time, and I just had a fucking child. A child was ripped out of my body, and I've been breastfeeding for 8 months, and I've lost over 50 pounds. And people on TikTok are like, you're too skinny. What's going on? Are you eating? People literally ask me, are you eating?
I've also seen both ends of the spectrum, because part of the reason I get so many weight comments is because a lot of people watched me when I was first on camera at Clever, which at the time I was working literally all day at Clever and usually late. Then I would go home and usually edit for Megan or someone else. All I was doing was working, and then while I'm at work, there are snacks. And while I'm at home, I'd like order a pizza or something that was easy. I was not working out at all, and that's from someone that has literally worked out pretty consistently their entire life. At a certain point, I probably gained, I would even say a maximum like 20, 30 pounds from like my normal weight, but that happened to be when I was first really being introduced on camera. So then when I started working out again, it was very easy for me to lose weight because my body kind of just like went back to like, oh, we remember this. I wasn't like excessively working out. I like started going on walks and I started losing weight, but I feel like everyone assumed that it was like, she just stopped eating. Or
do most people stay the same weight? I feel like everyone in my life fluctuates constantly. Like we're all up and down.
And especially like when I was first on camera, I was like 22-ish, or like 20, like probably 24. I'm like, and I'm 32 now. So it's like my body definitely has changed a bit in just shape anyway.
Yeah.
And then also once I started addressing my back issues and going to the chiropractor to fix my posture, that has made just the way I stand so much different. But I would get so many comments back in the day when I first started, and I never struggled with like body image issues, and I'm really lucky that that was never a big thing for me. Obviously there was things I didn't love, but it was never like, oh, I hate looking in the mirror, I'm so upset. Like I was never like overly confident and I was never too hard on myself, but I would get so many comments of being like, also it would be like sitting next to Jocelyn and Megan, who were both very small, but the amount of fat shaming comments are like, Lily's the chubby one, Lily's the fat one. So I've seen both ends of the spectrum, because then when I started losing weight, suddenly for like a month, I think I got good ones. Like, Lily looks great. Then once that month window passed, it was like, Lily has an eating disorder. Lily's sick. Lily's unhealthy. Lily looks like she's gonna die.
It's never enough for people. And it honestly reminds me of like, if any of you guys have immigrant families at all, it's so common like for Cuban people to be like, oh my God, you're too fat. What happened to you? Oh my God, you're so skinny. And they just say it to your face. It's just so fucking rude. And it's so normalized in our culture. I have no fucking idea why. The internet reminds me a lot of my family, because it's like, it's never good enough. Either you're too fat, you're too skinny. I used to get so many fat comments. Oh my God, I'll never forget one comment where I did a mukbang and I was vegan at the time. So I was eating a relatively like healthy vegan meal. It was like cauliflower and like whatever. And someone literally was like, how is it possible that you eat like this and you're still fat? And I was just like, oh my God, you fucking bastard. Like,
then I get the opposite where it's like, yeah, right, she eats In-N-Out every day and then she looks that skinny. I'm like,
why does it matter is my question. Why do people feel like they have the right to comment on someone's weight? You have no idea how triggering that could potentially be. Guys, this is not a big podcast. You know, we see these comments, right? Like we see all of them.
Okay, that was going to be the next thing I said, because even I just got a ton of really bad ones on my Instagram too, which that was why I was spiraling, because I was getting them on the podcast and the Instagram, and I was like, oh my God, I can't post anywhere. But it was people commenting as if I'm never going to see it. Like they're referring to me, but it's like the reel has like 10 comments on it. I'm like, do you really think I'm not going to see that? And they're like, ooh, Lily looks blah, blah, blah. And I commented back on it and go, why are you guys talking about me like this isn't my picture? Like, I don't understand.
I do remember one time vividly leaving a quote unquote hate comment when I was in high school on RCL Beauty 101's video.
Why do I feel like this is a vaguely familiar story that I've heard before?
I've met her actually after the fact, and I never actually had this discussion with her. So like, guys, keep this between us. Like, just let's not make this a thing. And it wasn't even a horrible comment, but I did leave a comment on her video where she had put this, it was like an Olay, I want to say, or like CoverGirl primer that was like a face primer. And it's like those silicone face primers, and she put it on her eyes. And I remember I commented, why are you teaching people how to do makeup if you like have no clue that primer doesn't even go on your fucking eyes? Like, I didn't say fucking, but like I put like a smart ass comment, and she did actually, I think, reply like, oh, like I didn't know, whatever. Okay, guys, that was my hate comment that I remember putting on the internet.
You still think about it?
Of course. I still think about it, because I'm like, she saw it, and like, why the fuck did I need to say that? Like, that's not, I could have been like, hey girl, that doesn't go on your eyes. Like, that actually just goes on your face. And you know what's really interesting? Dustin Daly actually posted a video about Michaela, you know, the makeup girl on TikTok, that back in the day, she put a bunch of hate comments on Jaclyn Hill's posts. And now you see them because it's like verified, and they're like at the top, where she would literally comment on like her things saying like yikes and like shit like that to Jaclyn Hill.
I don't know if I was just like on the internet later in life, so it just like wasn't a thing. Like maybe I would have if I had like YouTube and stuff when I was in high school, but I don't think I've ever left like a mean comment. I don't usually comment on things to begin with.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, I can remember the one that I left because I haven't left many. Like, I'm not a person that's ever been like, oh, fuck this or whatever. But just think about it, that your comments, they live on forever. And like one day you may become a YouTuber like Michaela, and then your shitty comment's gonna be on my Instagram at the top if you get verified. So,
or even worse, like the whole like Chrissy Teigen thing, when all of her old tweets came out where she was like telling people to kill themselves. And I was like, oh my God, how could you ever have thought
and
that
she was famous at the time. But yeah, so that is the official reacting to hate comments segment.
I don't think we even really read any specific ones, but they all had the same general sentiment.
Yeah, and we'll show them. But like, guys, come on. Come on.
We're trying really hard.
Literally, please feel free to leave constructive criticism. We are listening to everyone.
That's the thing. If you're like, oh, I prefer multiple topics as opposed to one, or like, I didn't like how you guys talked about this in this certain
And you
way.
don't have to put it in a compliment sandwich. A lot of people only want criticism if it's like compliment sandwich. Like, just let us know what you think, the good, the bad, whatever. But like, maybe don't just be like, your existence is irritating. Especially if you're a fan of mine and you're someone that's coming here to see me and then you're just like, oh, I love you, Jessi, but like, Lily, you're so irritating. Like, that also hurts me. Like, she is my friend and I care about her. And like, when she texts me at like 3 a.m. reading those comments, I know it's hurting her. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I feel sad that like I brought people that are saying that to you. So like, guys, let's just be kind, okay? Like Harry Styles
and to
says.
be clear, it hasn't been like an overwhelming amount.
Guys, we're just sensitive.
Yeah, we are. Literally, she texted me yesterday. She goes, oh my God, everyone hates us about what we said about Christy. And I looked and I go, Jessi, there's one comment and it's not even very bad. She goes, I know, I'm just sensitive.
I felt my entire world crumbling. I was telling Nassim, I'm like, people think we're mean. Like, people think we're bullies. And it's just the nature of the show. Like, I was literally rambling to him about it. He's like, it's fine. Like, you're fine. I think that's it. Or should we talk about what we were going to talk about?
I feel like we have to give them, this is an internet drama show. We need to give them a little bit more internet drama. So,
okay, we'll talk about this. But listen, we're going to make this lickety split because we can't be talking about these people every episode, okay?
That's the one thing. It's like my first response to Jessi texting me this topic was, one, did people care about the one she told me about? And then I had a follow up and then I was like, are we talking about the Ace family too much?
Yes, we are.
But they do a lot of things.
They do a lot of things. And guys, let's just make this lickety split. Number one, do we know them? Nah, never.
It's funny because I like, definitely not. Who are they? Do they have like influencer friends?
Yeah, Addison Rae's stepdad. This topic is it's not even like a shocking thing, whatever, but basically Austin Mcbroom had to cancel what is that called?
Quote unquote.
Quote unquote. Jesus. Austin Mcbroom had to quote unquote postpone his fight. Basically his opponent Gibbs, who, number one, who is Gibbs? Question mark?
I think it's just Gibbs, singular.
Oh, it's just Gibb, not Gibbs.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I did not research this topic. But no, I'm not sure. I was gonna guess maybe he's in FaZe clan or something, but I think then it would be FaZe Gibb. Apparently someone that Austin felt like was enough of a big name to pull some numbers for this fight, which I'm still confused. Who wants to see Austin fight? Like, I feel like the Bryce Hall one.
Yeah, we just wanted to watch Bryce Hall get fucked up.
Exactly. I feel like the pull there was like everyone just wants to see Bryce Hall get knocked out. They didn't really care about what Austin was doing. I just feel like the way Austin talks about these fights, I'm like, who do you think you are?
So essentially what happened is that they want to have it be a professional fight. And when you want it to be like marked as like a professional fight or like considered a professional fight, I don't know how any of this shit works, okay? But when you want that, you have to meet certain like medical milestones or whatever. And apparently this kid didn't. And so now he's in LA and has like 3 months to meet the requirements. I don't even know what the fuck.
So that's what I'm confused. What are these medical requirements?
I don't fucking know. You gotta punch real fast. You gotta breathe real fast. I don't fucking know. Like, literally, who cares?
Well, I feel like I saw something about, like, I think he was saying he had to do another physical or something. And I'm like,
What, are you going to space?
he has to get all the vaccines for, they're like, I don't know. But he came to LA and then was like getting more stuff done. But I don't know. I just think it's weird that Austin's talking about this. Like, it's like the pay-per-view event of the year when I'm like, where is this even, like, who's watching
Well,
this?
and remember from Ace Fest, one of the things, the perks that you get with your $1 million ticket is that not only do you get to go to the event, but you get to get the pay-per-view like ticket to watch Austin Mcbroom's fight. So what would normally be like $45 or something, like usually, is now you can watch the fight. Of course, unless the fight doesn't happen, because then in reality you got scammed. Well, listen, my conclusion is, who cares?
She texted it to me. I go, does anyone care?
No.
But then when she brought up Austin, I was like, well, we don't really care about that, but we can mention it because then we could also mention what his wife is up to, because I've been seeing her in the news, the T channel headlines. Apparently she has a Snapchat, which I wasn't aware people really still use Snapchat. I have not opened mine in quite some time. Not to shame anyone that does. I'm actually just curious, like in the comments, do you have Snapchat still / use it? Apparently Catherine Mcbroom does, and apparently she's very vocal on it, period. Like she does a lot of like answering fan questions, and she just like talks a lot. She's been very vocal about her ongoing experience experimenting with shrooms. Some interesting stuff on there. I'll say firsthand that I have dabbled in microdosing. I have I've been using these gummies that it's a brand, I don't think it's technically legal in California yet, so I don't know if you can really get them, but I've been having these gummies, and the idea behind microdosing shrooms, it's gotten really popular lately because it's supposed to help with anxiety and depression and stuff, and like a mood booster, helps you focus. So I was like, all of that sounds great, absolutely. So I've tried them for, I think the first time I tried it was like last year, and I'll do it once in a while. I think the first time I tried it, for the first month, I noticed a bit of a difference, but now I wouldn't not recommend them, but I wouldn't be like, this is the best thing that's ever existed. But also, if I post about them on my story, that's going to my audience where the younger end of it is still in their 20s. Like they're like in college or just out of college is around the age range. Catherine Mcbroom has like children that follow her.
Here's the thing, because like Miley Cyrus, for instance, okay, how hard did she have to work to not only like break free of that mold of like only kids follow me or whatever, but like literally her fan base like grew up, and then she got to do whatever she does now, which love Miley, by the way, no Miley hate, hashtag. Catherine, you don't get to have a family channel that's catered towards like families and children actively. Like you're still doing that content which gravitates towards children and families and whatever, and then want to have your Miley Cyrus breaking free from Hannah Montana moment where you're talking about microdosing on your Instagram or your Snapchat or whatever. Unfortunately, as influencers, in our name we have influence, and we are responsible for the things that we put out there, and unfortunately for you, you're putting things out there towards kids. And you can't be talking about microdosing to children.
Well, and also because a lot of what I was reading didn't feel like how I feel like microdosing is. Like what she was describing wasn't microdosing. It was just actually shrooming, which I've honestly only done, I wouldn't even really say once because I was trying to microdose, but it was with actual shrooms and I took too much.
You
and
just dosed.
I forgot I had taken it, and I tried to take a nap, and when I woke up, the blankets were like moving, and it was a lot going on. It was overwhelming.
I don't want to like out my brother Joey, but like Joey did shrooms one time when we were like in high school, and he called me and like left the voicemail on. I slept over at my grandma's house. I was like, I want no part of this, because I've always been scared that it'll make me like go insane because I have so many like mental issues. And so I just left, but he left me a voicemail. Him and his friends that he did it with were all losing their mind, and he thought the like magazine of Oprah, like O Magazine, was like talking to him, and it was just a mess. I'm not interested in that.
Well, and so here's the thing. It's like there's a huge difference between taking shrooms and microdosing. When you microdose, you aren't supposed, I think I've even explained it to Jessi before, it's far less like an additional feeling. Like when you're drunk, it's like you feel kind of out of it, or you feel like warm, or it's not the additional feeling. It's like the absence of being sad or stressed.
Interesting.
Like you don't feel like anything extra. You just don't feel as...
So you're not supposed to feel high at all.
No, that's not the point of microdosing at all.
But Catherine kind of talks about it like she's high. Also, can we talk about how Catherine is in her era? That reminds me, in high school, I discovered The Secret, and I was like, oh my God, I could think of a bird feather and it's gonna show up on my lawn. Like, that is mental illness, okay? It's not.
Well, so that's the thing, is she also, this isn't, she's been like, I guess, on a very natural health kick for a while, and I guess she's kind of, I don't know if she's actually said it, but I think she's anti-vax.
100%. She doesn't have to say it.
Yeah. And here's one where it's a graphic saying the one you're looking for is you, and it's like a figure looking in.
Okay, I could get down with that.
And then she said, everyone is afraid of themselves. The most exhilarating thing a human can do is dive within, surrender. That's fine. Sure. Things escalate. Someone goes, I'm tripping currently. You would never say tripping in association with microdosing because you aren't tripping. You're just like microdosing. But someone goes, I'm tripping currently. Thank you for all the love you put out. And she goes, no, thank you. Then someone goes, I've been so scared to reach out while I trip. I felt as though no one could understand the depth of my emotion. You make me feel safe and you remind me that I am always safe because I have myself. I am an abundance of love and acceptance. I am me and I am you. I am everything. And she goes, yes, I am you and you are me. I wish the world knew this. I love you. Raising Earth's vibration by just being here. This next one is, I took, and then they cross out, but it's shrooms, I assume. For the first time Friday, and it was eye-opening. This is absolutely true. All your answers are within you. And she goes, yes, medicine, the real medicine. And with shroom emojis. Also, microdosing is important. Make sure to always open and close ceremony space and ground after. Just a reminder. She even at one point, someone was like, you're promoting mushrooms. And she was like, I'm not promoting it. I'm just sharing my truth.
There's a reason that brands come to us as influencers and say, hey, I'll give you this much money if you just post about this thing, because everything you post on your like Instagram or anywhere is a promotion. Like that is how this industry works. If I talk about how I ate Steak and Shake that day, I am promoting Steak and Shake, even if Steak and Shake didn't pay me, which I did eat Steak and Shake today. But that's besides the point.
Well, and again, like I have promoted, I haven't gone into depth on like how to use it. And like I haven't given instructions, but I promoted a product of microdosing.
My question is, if someone went to you and said, hey, Lily, I'm tripping balls. Thank you so much for the info on mushrooms. I'm pretty sure you'd be like, wait, you're not supposed to feel like you're tripping.
So that's the thing. I'm like, is she basically being like, in that last one was like, microdosing is important too. Is she saying like, in addition to actually just tripping on mushrooms?
She should feel concerned that people are telling her so often that they're tripping. You shouldn't feel like you're tripping.
Without one, especially without knowing how old they are. And again, I don't believe, like, yes, I'm sure there's some exceptions. I don't believe I have a bunch of 15-year-old fans even. Her fans, aren't they like 12? Honestly, we could be wrong. And maybe her Snapchat demo is different. And if so, I take it back. But it just feels very irresponsible when you are a family channel to be not just promoting like microdosing in a way that's like, it's not even legal yet. I don't know. I feel like a hypocrite because I literally just posted about my gummies.
Not Lily also promoting microdosing.
Yes, but at the same time, it's like not in the same, like in this one, someone goes, have you tried mushrooms before? What was your experience? She goes, of course, my first time was in 2013. Something, I don't know what's crossed out, told me to move to Los Angeles, and I did a couple months later. Who told her? What does that say? I think it says the mushrooms told me to move to Los Angeles, and I did a couple months later. Mushrooms are a tool to help you gain access to information you already have stored in your pineal gland.
Yeah, we can't do that, girl. My brother saw Oprah talking to him on a magazine, all right? Like, we cannot be promoting this. Like, okay, if you want to try it, I'm not saying that you shouldn't or you should or whatever. The point is that as an influencer, I would be terrified for anyone to want to like trip balls or like get some sort of awakening because of me off of mushrooms.
Here's the thing. Someone goes, are you promoting the magic mushrooms online? Just curious because it's not what I expected from you being a fan. And she goes, promoting isn't the correct word. More like being vulnerable and sharing what I know is to be truth. Something most of the world is lacking in today's time. Most people are promoting hate speech. She also puts promoting in quotes. Hate speech, bullying, violence, lab-created medicine, liquor, etc. All things that are truly poison. Most people are conditioned by the Matrix. It's time to... What the fuck does that even mean?
Lab-created medicine, like, saves fucking lives. And I have a severe issue. And I also know people personally in my life who should and have been on medication for mental health and now do not believe in it because of this fucking bullshit rhetoric that is circling the internet, and they are suffering because of it. And they literally think that lab-created medicine is bullshit. Lab-created medicine literally saved my life. And I just have an issue with people who talk like this about especially mental health issues. So many of them believe that like we can cure that on our own by drinking the fucking teas and just praying and meditating. I have done so many things to try to help myself and none of them fucking work. Spoiler alert, I was still depressed and anxious and need medication.
Well, so there's a book that I read when my back issues started getting like really bad and I like couldn't do anything.
What
was,
is
like,
it called?
This one was called, I want to say The Mind Body Connection. So this one was, his name is John E. Sarno, and he's written a few books, and I read it, and a lot of it hits home, and like I would be like crying when I would read certain stuff because it felt like, oh my God, this is exactly how I feel. And I saw my friend Kelsey Dara just had posted on Twitter, and she has a bunch of horrible chronic pain issues. So we've discussed at length over the years, and she's writing a book about it right now. But she was asking people on their opinions about him and then another doctor. And I clicked it because I was curious because I had read that book, and some of it resonates, but then some of it, it's like, it kind of makes it feel like it's all in your head and it's kind of all your fault if you're in pain, and that you can kind of like positively think your way out of it. And it doesn't say it like that. And it's not supposed to be like, you just wake up one day and think positive and you're fine. But I think it discredits a lot of like, when there are actual issues that need to be addressed, like your stress and your built up trauma and tension and stuff, that could make it worse. But there might still be things you need to address, like mechanically with your body, or if there's an autoimmune disease. I get that the pharmaceutical industry is completely fucked, and there's definitely a lot of things wrong, and especially with overprescribing of mental health pills. I think a lot of the time when it's not like antidepressants, it's like giving out Xanax or giving out Adderall and stuff. I agree. Those have gotten to be issues at certain points, but to just discredit all of it.
There's nothing wrong with trying anything for your mental health or for your own health. Like, that's not the issue.
Also, if it works for you, like a lot of the times it even could be like, oh, well, that isn't actually proven to work. But if it's working as a placebo effect and your brain is taking it and it's working.
Yeah, I've tried all of the like supplements and stuff, like the 5-HTPs and the, all of those things that are supposed to help with depression and stuff. And I was like, if it helps me, like, great. It didn't. And the issue that I have with mental health and trying to use alternative medicines, which is fine if it works for you, is that it's a really dangerous game to play. Like, it just is. And I don't know if you know Dre McRae, like the whole thing happening with her husband in a coma right now. There's this girl, super spark notes. I'm not going to get into it. Maybe we'll get into it in a future episode. But essentially, she is an MLMer. She was like a paparazzi, like jewelry seller, whatever. And she goes on Facebook Live all the time. She started getting really into like alternative medicine, talking just like this. I am you, you are me, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And taking, it starts with a K. It's like a medicinal thing that has like opiate.
Ketamine?
No, it's not ketamine. It's like a plant thing. Fuck, I can't think of the name, but it has like opiate properties. And like her and her husband were taking it, whatever. And her husband basically like dwindled away, where he like lost a bunch of weight. And it was like super disturbing to see like the progression of it on live. And he ended up like trying to unalive himself, and she like found him, and now he's like in a coma, and it's super depressing and crazy. But I say all of that to just say, like, it is dangerous to play these games,
and especially also with stuff like, I mean, shrooms. I mean, I've watched true crime stuff where literally people have murdered people because they were tripping on shrooms and thought that it was the demon or something.
That YouTuber Vitaly, he was on a bunch of shrooms and he beat the shit out of a woman. He jumped, he hid in bushes and jumped out and beat the shit out of a woman just running.
So clearly shrooms, like, that's not something to just be like, like, for the most part, I think if you do it in a controlled environment, then it can be harmless.
But it's not all kumbaya. Like, this can be dangerous, and that needs to be discussed.
There's exceptions, yeah. And there's also, crap, I don't remember his name. He was the fitness YouTuber, and he started taking ayahuasca all the time. He went from doing literally like his videos were like going out and picking up girls by taking his shirt off because he was like super, super ripped. But then suddenly started, he took, do you know what ayahuasca is?
Yeah.
So he took that once. If anyone watching, it's a plant. You do it in like other countries because it's definitely not legal. It brings you on this very deep emotional journey where you're kind of like in a lucid dream state where you can like revisit your childhood. People do it a lot to recover from, like, heroin addicts might do it, and they literally will be able to stop after without withdrawal symptoms because it helps like reset receptors in your brain. So it's a very powerful and potentially life-changing in a positive way drug that people, and plant drug that people can do. But when not done in the proper setting and correctly, there's this guy, and crap, I don't have any clue what his name was. He went on this very public spiral where he kept uploading videos and he turned into like thinking he was God. He started like drinking his own pee. He ended up posting all of his bank accounts online and like people drained his account. Like a random girl went to go help him and it looked like he was living like a hoarder. Like, and he just had tons of ayahuasca and he was doing it multiple times a day. You guys, if you don't know, this is not like smoking a bowl in the morning. Like this is something that people go and it's like a very
like
intense rigor. Like it's not something you just like do every day. It's like people do it once in their entire life. And he made it like a daily thing and he ended up going to a mental hospital and stuff. And I think he's doing okay now. But it's just an example of like, you don't know what these drugs are doing to you also. So you can't put all of your faith in it just because it made you think a certain way.
Well, and even if it works for you, that's great. But there's a lot of people that unfortunately have addictive personalities and do things like that and take something completely that's not meant to be used that way and it becomes that for them. So you don't ever as an influencer want to be responsible for that happening to someone else, especially when the demographic is likely very young. But that's besides the point. Like I think in general, if you're talking or promoting or being like, oh yeah, like tripping balls, like the yes, I am you, you are me. Like it's like, no, we should not be promoting people tripping balls.
That's what I think is crazy because it's like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I've never done a drug in my life. I went to Arizona State. I had a good time. I tried some stuff, but I'm not out here telling you to go do it and like giving you a step by step. Like, I think it's so odd that then like she's kind of playing it off like a microdosing thing when that's not even what she's talking about clearly.
Well, we went on for a lot longer than I would like about the Ace family. I'll say that much. All right. Well, that's, I think that's it for this episode. Right?
I keep checking to see if I have like boob sweat or something.
No, I'm profusely sweating. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. I know, again, it was a little different, but hope you guys enjoyed it. It is what it is. You get what you get and you don't get upset.
Honestly, it'll vary week to week, but thank you so much. We also, thank you guys. We hit 10,000 subscribers, which...
Oh my God, I know we should have said that in the beginning. Fuck. Honestly, thank you guys so much for supporting it, watching, and for those of you that like it and like us, we appreciate you very much.
If you would prefer it just be Jessi, I'm sorry, I understand, but I'm gonna have to direct you to her channel because I need to be doing this podcast as well. And again, if you guys saw this somehow on TikTok, tell us where and how. We want to know. Watch as it's just like a compilation of like us being mean to Christy Coulson.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
Next Sunday. Oh my God, we're so consistent. I love it.
Love that for us.
Okay, bye.
Bye, guys.